Ms. Russell? And Mr. Webb?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, 6.01, we have a comment from School Board Member Shauna Russell regarding our consent agenda.
While it is not part of the consent agenda, since hourly employees are not brought before the school board, I do want to note that my daughter will be hired by FCCPS as an hourly employee. I want to certify to the school board that pursuant to policy GCCB, I had no involvement with the hiring of my daughter.
Thank you, Ms. Russell. Moving on to Section 7, our consent agenda. I would seek unanimous consent that the consent agenda be adopted as presented. Great. All right, next up, 8.01, approval of George Mason High School and Henderson's new class offerings.
Thank you, Chair Gill. This evening, I'm going to turn it over here to Mr. Bates, our Chief Academic Officer, to sort of tee this piece up, but we're excited about many of the courses that are coming forward for addition to our course catalog. As you consider these courses for approval, one of the things that I do want to make clear, not unlike we did when we offered the sign language course, just because we offer it doesn't mean that we run it. It still needs to have the appropriate enrollment. And we also need to understand that anytime a new course comes in, it means other courses that are there. If the new one is gaining enrollment, another one may be losing enrollment. So it could have an impact on other courses. So I just say that to put that on your radar. These are great courses that they're bringing forward, and we look for smooth adoption. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Bates.
Thank you, Dr. Noonan. I just want to share that through this process, I had an opportunity to meet with the principals about the new course offerings. And it was important, one, for us to be lockstep with policy IKF, the Virginia Assessment Program and graduation requirements. So we needed to look at offering full courses as opposed to 0.5 courses at the middle school. Additionally, coding at Mount Daniel and Thomas Jefferson has resulted in students entering middle school with a stronger sense of coding skills, and a new STEAM position at TJ has also supported the need for us to look at shifting our courses because the students are matriculating up from the elementary schools into the middle schools better prepared, and these same students are leaving the middle school, entering the high school better prepared. I want to give kudos to the principals and their leadership teams for making this a collaborative process and giving special consideration to the importance of creating a stronger alignment with the pathway of courses so that our students are prepared for success at the very highest level. So at this point, I would like Mr. Hills and Ms. Hardy, our principals at Mason and Henderson, to come up and bring their teams.
Thank you, Mr. Bates. So I get the pleasure of going first. As Mr. Bates sort of laid out for you, with some of the policy changes around half credits, that really did impact us, as we have 4 classes that we offer that are half credit classes. And so it did involve us needing to take a look at what those courses are, what that means in terms of programming for our students, and then what makes sense based upon the skill set of our students coming up. We are fortunate that as we think about this community, coding, robotics, the experiences that our students come to us with, they do have a skill set that is allowing us to look at sequencing a little bit different and how we offer courses maybe earlier than what we traditionally offer them. And then looking ahead, right, we have a fabulous new building that every day we get to see being built. And we know that in that building, there's going to be a lot of technologies and a lot of focus on sustainability. So how do we start to use this opportunity to be that bridge for both of those worlds? So what you're going to hear tonight are 2 courses that we're presenting to you, as well as sort of a shift in our sequencing in our computer science program to sort of support what that work will look like. So we're going to start I want to introduce and have her come up to the podium with me. A familiar face to some is Dr. Susan Jinks. It might be a name you might remember. Heads nod, yes. When Dr. Jinks was returning to Falls Church, there were many happy faces and many emails about, we need to hire her. And to have Dr. Jinks back in a building that I know she considers home, but to have her help to help shape this work is vitally important with her background and expertise that she's had both here on the ground in Falls Church, but then also across the country. So I'm going to have her do a little bit of talking around the computer science scope and sequence changes, and then a new course that we're bringing forward today in App Creator.
And I think I'm going to say some of the same things that other people have said. But it's really fitting to be presenting the shifts in computer science curriculum at Henderson during Computer Science Week. The shift we are presented is needed because TJ and Mount Daniel have embraced computer science. For years, all schools in Falls Church City have participated in Hour of Code during Computer Science Week and continue to do this week. Students are now entering Henderson with a strong background in Blacklead coding and are ready for the next level. Our proposal tonight shifts the 7th grade curriculum to 6th grade, where students will learn how to make a web page using HTML and CSS. The current 6th grade curriculum has only a small component of computer science, so this shift will make the computer science continuum stronger. The 7th grade curriculum would be a new course focused on building apps called Project Lead the Way App Creator. Students will learn how to build apps, and the curriculum is project-based and will easily fit into the MYP design program. Our 8th grade curriculum will remain programming, where students learn JavaScript and Python. This shift would provide for a solid continuum of computer science throughout middle school and will prepare students to take computer science classes at Mason.
Thank you, Dr. Jinks. So the second shift involves our other half of the continuum when you think about sort of design and CTE and computer science, which is Dr. Ruwar. Many of you are familiar with his classes, and he could not be with us tonight. But in thinking about what he has offered at the 8th grade level, we do want to look at those half-credit courses that he offered. And one of those has been robotics. And as we start to think about what robotics is, right? We know it has a very strong foundation and contingency in terms of the community, but it also helps to support the amazing work of our national champions at the high school, right? And international champions at the high school. So how do we continue to take that work and fold it into also this concept of sustainability? So Dr. Ruwar has the privilege of sitting on many state and national boards and has done quite a bit of work to find the right course that would encompass that robotics core, but actually elevate it into the scope of what that really continuum of sustainability and design is. So the course that we're presenting for him would be Sustainable Design and Engineering. So it continues to build on those principles of robotics, but it actually extends it. It allows us to touch on those pieces of sustainability, of, and you have the coursework here as well, of also looking at technological systems and starting to look at agricultural biotechnology. So start to think of some of the hydroponic programs that happen. He's going to start to fold some of that work into this course as well. So what we start to see is this is still an opportunity for students to explore, which is very much our middle school model, but it allows us to build that bridge to Mason and giving students a little taste of what's to come for them down the road. All of this fits within our design, scope, and sequence. And I have one more member of the team with us today, which is Casey Mako. And Casey often laughs and says, "Why am I here?" Casey's teaching FACS this year. But what is a great gift to us is Casey transitioned into FACS after being a science teacher in our 6th grade science curriculum and program for years. So what Casey brings is this lens of understanding how the sciences all interrelate to everything that's happening in our design and CTE program with a solid understanding of MYP. So we feel like we've got the right team together now to really do this work, and we're excited about these 2 new courses and what it'll mean for ultimately our students and their learning. And we're happy to take any questions you might have.
Questions from the board? Mr. Anderson?
So I'm actually really excited to see both of these. It seems like it does seem like a real opportunity to get I'm looking at the computer science to start with in particular, but a real opportunity to get the younger kids working on building the stuff that they're already doing at TJ. So I think this is really exciting. How is the change from a half credit to a full credit sort of work with the rest of how you have to carry out the program?
So this is part of what the shift would be is with the changes to the policy, at the middle school level, we will no longer be offering those half-credit courses. So the content will still remain. Students will still have the ability to have access to the content and the curriculum, but they will not be awarded half credits because half credits really don't connect to a full graduation credit that would sort of amount to them getting their full diploma, which is the reason for the shift.
And is there, and this is going to display my ignorance, but is this, so half credit and half credit, was there previously opportunity for students to do bits of each, and now they're going to have to make a different choice?
So they'll still be able to make the same choices content-wise. We're just, the shift, I think, and I certainly defer to Mr. Bates and Dr. Noonan, but my understanding is the shift is really predicated around sort of the Virginia School Board policy around half credits at the middle school level, and really looking to offer those full credits that align with the Virginia diploma options that are currently available.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, going forward, is this going to be something that you'll periodically refresh, or is this going to be in life for the next X years? How does that work?
And speaking with the computer science, I think it's constantly going to shift. I think our course names might remain the same. So programming is programming. It's finding the programming that is relevant and will be strong enough to, I guess, provide the supports for them to enter a high school course, but be easy enough for all middle school kids to access.
But I mean, it does seem on the computer programming side of things that you're going to have to run faster just to stay in place, because as you're developing these students with increasing amounts of knowledge, how do you keep them engaged? So, I mean, I think that's a great problem to have, and so I wish you,
Yeah,
I wish you luck.
I agree with you. It's a great problem to have, and I think it's just about getting more students interested. So finding the ways to get more students into the courses. But I think right now, we have a huge number of people who are taking it, and the quality of work that is coming out of my 8th graders is astonishing. They just finished JavaScript games, and between the whole class, they coded, I think it was 6,600 lines of code. One student alone coded 800 lines, which is remarkable for an 8th grader. Really for anyone. I shouldn't just say an 8th grader. It's remarkable for everyone.
And you're professional connected too. Mm-hmm. So Dr. Jinks is also connected to a lot of professional organizations. So that's one thing that I know you've been able to do, is stay connected and then bring that learning back directly to our students. And I sort of see as you do sort of curriculum revisions annually, right? How do the units shift to meet sort of the needs of where the students are and where we sort of see the technologies going as well? For Dr. Brewer's class, he actually is excited about being able to have that fluidity, right? Because what he is really looking forward to is he has felt very much like robotics is robotics, right? But as the technologies have evolved, he's excited to have the opportunity to use that class to evolve with the student needs and with the needs that are sort of coming in that engineering world. So for him, he sees it as he'll have his base content, but he'll be able to sort of ebb, flow, and continue to grow and evolve in his units as the nature of sort of technology continues to evolve. So that's really a benefit for our students.
And if I may jump in just to Mr. Castillo's question and point, which is extremely valid. Dr. Jinks and I were having a conversation and sharing stories about recent visits. She went to Google or visited Google, and I have a family member that works at Adobe, and that conversation quickly evolved into just how those organizations are set up, how they focus on efficiency, how the employees in at those companies are collaborators and they share. And we talked a little bit about the classroom environments and how we can set up our classrooms so that students are not just focused on the content, but also working together collaboratively, solving problems, and having a genuine interest in the curriculum. And I just share all of that to say that it's important that we teach the curriculum and we prepare students for the next steps, but we also have to be connected to what's happening in the real world and